You done mastered it.
What's
uh,
going on, everybody?
what's up? How's everybody doing, man? Look, it's your boy Troy.
It's your boy Sean.
Hey, we tapped
We
in,
tapped in.
man.
So we back. So if you're watching us, share, like, subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Wherever you can find us, hit us up. This gonna be a good one tonight, man. This gonna be a good one. This is a little something different. We usually have a whole bunch of topics, but tonight we only got a couple, and we're just gonna kind of elaborate on one.
No doubt, no doubt, no
Elaborate on
doubt. So it's gonna be good. Before we start, man, big shout out, man, first to my mom Dukes, man. It was her birthday yesterday.
Oh,
So
happy birthday,
happy
Mom
birthday,
Dukes.
Mom Dukes, and happy birthday to my son, down there. So his birthday today, April reloaded, man.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
and my niece's birthday was yesterday.
Wow. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, family.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the fam.
That's what's up. How old is your son?
Man, 27. My
27.
youngest son turned 27 today. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, man. Child make me, man.
Yeah. Like I remember being 27.
Yeah, 27. Man, that's 27. And my oldest is 29. Like, you up there hitting 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Time stops for no man.
Nah, that's it,
Stops for
man.
no man.
Yeah.
So man, we got open up, man. What you think about the playoffs so far, man?
Man, I think man, Memphis got their hands full. Memphis got their hands full. I kinda knew that, though, man. I mean,
For sure.
yeah, man, I didn't know OKC was that high power though.
They number one in the West, man.
I know, but man,
You
like,
can't be number
hearing
one in
it
the West.
on paper and actually watching it, man, it's like how they can make up 20 or 30 points in a matter of it's unreal, man.
Man, but they dropped 50 on the Heat.
Yeah, yeah,
They beat them by 50. They came back and beat them by almost 30 the next night.
yeah. But I mean, they was closing in the gaps. That's what I'm saying. They're closing the gap. Then they're going to run, man. Next thing you know, they up by 20. I'm like, man, how can they score that quick? You know?
They got that much firepower, man.
Yeah. And Luca, of course, man, doing his thing.
Mhm.
Luca doing what Luca do, man. Hey,
I think you're a little bit biased on that, though.
man, I'm a Laker, from day one, but I'm not a huge neither one of Luca or LeBron fan, man.
Oh, for real?
I'm not.
Okay.
But man,
But you'll take them, though.
I'll take it, man. I'll take that dub. I'll take that dub all day long.
Hey, one, actually, they on right now. I was just looking at it 'cause I was trying to see who the game was tonight. I think the Pistons for real, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they won one right now. And so they took one in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So now they in Detroit. I mean, they hadn't won a series since 2008. I
Oh
want to say.
yeah.
So
They
it's been a
almost took back the Isaiah Thomas and them Pistons. It's been a minute.
yeah, for sure. So I mean, you got OKC out in the West. Who else? Is there anybody else out in the West that impressed you at all?
I mean, other than LA,
Other,
other than LA, man, it's LA. I mean, I'm saying, but that's not the only thing I see, man. That's gonna be stand.
saying that.
Yeah.
So in the East, who you think is coming out of there, or at least in I mean, who looks good to you right
Uh, I don't really have a dog in that fight, man. I would like New York.
now? Okay.
I would like New York, but I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's reasonable right now. But
Yeah, I mean, I think right now it's the it's the Celtics. I mean, they up 2-0. Jason Tatum ain't even play last night. They
right,
still got the dub.
yeah,
And then actually, if they win and the Cavs win, I think they play each other
hmm
in the next round, which I'd rather for them to play each other in the Eastern Conference Finals because I think those are probably the two best teams
yeah.
in the East right now. But I mean, I think it's gonna be some good
And
basketball.
Donovan Mitchell, man, he's been putting in work, man, for a
Yeah,
long time, man. So
yeah, it'd be nice to see them
yeah, it would be.
do a little do some damage. I mean, they're not gonna be able to take the East, but I mean, at least they can make it respectable.
Yeah, that's
Make
it.
it
No
respectable.
doubt, no doubt.
So cool, yeah. So I'm gonna tune in. So you got the Knicks and the Pistons. They playing down. Thunder's Grizzlies play at 9:30, and the Nuggets and the Clippers play. Man, speaking of the Clippers, Kawhi ain't played in like 2 years, man.
He's been somewhere playing, man. That nigga been balling. You don't just pop off.
Pop out and give him 40.
Yeah, you don't just pop off and give him 40 like that, man. He been balling somewhere.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, and not like ain't skipped a beat.
Yeah, because most times you gotta get your muscle, your work muscle back up, man. He just jumped in and hooping, man.
Yeah,
He's
like-
a machine,
Yeah, like man, y'all forgot.
man.
Like, yeah, we did, man. You seen felt ball in 2 years.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, we did forget. But I mean, man, if they get, I don't know, man, if they figure it out.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could be.
but the chemistry, it's gonna have to be the chemistry gonna have to be there with, you know, what I mean,
Yeah, with Harden. I mean, everybody else.
Mhm.
I mean, but they got the pieces.
oh,
I even forgot they had Ben Simmons
yeah, yeah, I didn't know.
coming off the
Man, they just
Yeah, I mean, he's coming off the bench, giving them some production. I mean, but if they can find it and get some fire underneath of them, I mean, they might be able to do some damage over in the West, man.
oh yeah.
All right, man. So
Man,
let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So you had told me you was going to see it. I told you I wanted to see it. You was like, yo, man, Sinners, man, you gotta go watch it, man. And so disclosure, if you haven't seen it, you might not want to watch these clips. We might not want to watch this section because we just gonna kind of freestyle, give our thoughts and analysis on the movie. You know what kind of stood out to us. But yeah, it's definitely spoiler alert. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but you was dead on, man. I mean, it was. It's crazy because you look at the name and then you hear a horror film, and I'm not really a horror film person, right?
Me either.
But like I don't know if it was the buzz or if it was like when I talked to you and you was like, man, you got it, because I wanted to see it, but again, I don't like horror movies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, the buzz was enough. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go check it out and see. I know it's a horror movie, so I know kind of what to expect. But honestly, man, it didn't feel like a horror movie. I think Spike Lee said it best. I left there thinking that I just watched some new genre of movie.
Oh yeah.
Like it wasn't a horror movie, but it was intense.
Very intense, man. It was very intense.
You know what I mean? Like that's the only way I can describe it. I don't know if it was intense because it's like I'm waiting for little things to pop out. You know what I mean? So I'm trying not to, you know,
be relaxed.
Yeah,
be relaxed. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it just I never left the movie feeling that way.
Yeah. And you know, I'm be honest, because I went into it, and because it had that horror element, you know, I'm in there like, man, I don't want no spirit jumping on me.
Yeah,
I'm
same
I was sitting there, I'm thinking like, because it was certain chants and stuff they was
Right.
doing. And I said, oh man, they're gonna get us all in this theater. We about to be programmed up. But if you can once you get around that, man, the movie was so layered, man. It was layered with so many
Things.
nuggets, man. It's like,
And
oh,
it's crazy. So we could just start off with what you just said, like, because I had that same feeling. But when I was looking at it, I was like, but that's no difference than that. That is no different than the world that we operate in on a day.
it's a scary world. It's a spooky world.
Yeah, those same type of things is out here in real life. You know, that we mingling and interacting with, as far as you know, like people you don't know what their intentions are, or you know, I mean, what they do and on their own personal time. So I mean, those things you encounter on a daily basis anyway.
That was a part of his creative genius, because I'd much rather see sci-fi and say, you know what, that can't happen in real life, and be, you know, scared as to this is reality.
Yeah,
You paint this picture, but this is really what happened.
yeah. You just took the real world, put it on the screen, and was like, look what's going on all around you.
Yeah. And, I mean, if you look at terminology, you look at, okay, vampires, but then when you look at what the vampires represented in the movie, and we'll get there, but what you call someone that's constantly in your pockets, constantly trying to take what you created, you call them bloodsuckers.
Right.
But that's what they call them.
Right, right,
So why not use the vampires? That was a great depiction of what they stood for in that
right,
movie.
right. And so, like, if we just start from the beginning, man, it's crazy because, like, in the beginning, how the movie opens up, I'm like, okay, and then it gives the caption, one day later,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, yo, this whole movie just started, and um, this whole movie just started,
Uh-huh.
and this is really a movie about one day.
One day, one decision, and that's deep all by itself.
Hmm.
Uh the decision you make today could
Hmm.
be that decision. You know what I mean? And the fact that it started off where it started.
Right,
He was home. He was at church,
right,
and
and got direction from his father.
promise warning comes before destruction. We
Right.
always knew that warning comes before destruction. But okay, so let's talk about the movie. He, his love for music and the son, I think was his name Sammy or whatever.
Hmm.
He wanted to he wanted some freedom.
Hmm.
Basically, that day he said, "You know what? I'm off today. I'm
Worked all
relaxing. I
week.
worked all week. Man, I love music, but I don't want my music to be confined just to the
This.
church.
Right,
Like God gave me so much more. I got my expression. It's for the world. It's not just for the church.
right,
That's what I took from that. He
right,
was like, just let me go out. But his dad warned him, like, oh, when you step from out these doors,
you don't know what.
you're not covered.
Right,
You're not
right.
covered.
Which,
Mm.
which, which is crazy because so when you think about when you talk about like the God, man, there's so many places we can go in this movie. But like to speak to that, what you just said, how the twins, how they were kind of do what is it called, duality?
Mm-hmm.
Where one was very uh, calculated
Mm-hmm.
and thought process, and like it was like black and white to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Dollars and cents,
Right.
and he could see through the BS in life that was happening
Uh-huh.
and be like, nah, you need to be over here. You know what I mean? Some people are over here. That's where we are.
Uh-huh.
But you need to stay over here. And
Right.
that's what he was telling them about his music. He was
Mm-hmm.
like, you got a gift. He said, man, you need to be using that gift in the church, not
Right.
out here. You know what I mean? Because the same thing that it can do in the church,
Mm-hmm.
that same gift can do the same thing outside of it.
And it's called the spirit, right?
Yeah.
They call spirits. That's what you know what I mean? And we already know. We know we grew up in church. We know the importance of a great praise and worship leader, the musicians. Like they set the tone.
They said the
They
atmosphere.
set the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But that's not just in the church. That's
Out.
outside as well. So it's just the gift is there, but how do you use the gift?
Right. Because you think about it, like in music in general, like if you go to an event, let's just say a go-go,
Mm-hmm.
event.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like you hear that music and you just start
You
you
tap,
start
yeah.
yeah, you just start moving, right?
Mhm.
And they could even have a DJ there that's kind of setting the temperature of the room based off of the music that they
Yeah,
playing.
right.
You know what I mean? So we both know that that music that's being played can take you one way
Mm-hmm.
or it can take you a whole nother way,
Right.
right? It can get you in a place to have a good time, but then it can take you to a place where you turn it up, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like it's getting this wild energy moving.
Oh
And
yeah.
then when that start moving, you don't know what can happen. But that same music can get you in the mood to have a real good time, relax, dance and dance the night away and have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
But it go back to The music.
The music, man. What you just said, you just painted a picture, man. You took me back, man. And this is for all my La Frontiers, man, and all that. Man, I mean, we go out to the club, man. You be having a good night. You can be rocking, and right at that perfect time, the DJ he'll start first. You know, it's G Town in the house, it's Law in the house, and you know, first it's a great vibe, but then he'll throw on some Little John. Yeah. And next thing you know, Knuck If You Buck. He start playing them in succession, and you know his fight breaking up.
Right. Is that it? He just stirred up that.
Stirred
He
it up.
stirred it up.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. So it's
Yeah, I
power,
mean-
and that was just showing the power in the music, how it controls the people.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. So what? Trying to think, man. What else?
So, but with that gift that we're talking about of music, one thing I got from it is it started in a place where it was a certain culture. A certain culture, it always controlled that space, you know, and in this movie particular where they was at. But the place that they thought they owned,
Mhm.
they didn't own. So
Right.
when you think about music and the industry
Mhm.
and how far we can go in the industry,
But we don't know.
but we don't own it.
Right.
At the end, they're coming back. Okay, I'm a rapper. I'm lyrical. I'm great, and I'm just saying rapper, but it's about entertainment altogether.
Right. Right.
But I'm just narrowing it down to a rapper. My content can be great. I'm a lyrical, but this is not what this label wants. We want this is too positive. We want destructive. We want, and guess what? Once that carrot is dangled and you getting that type of money, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna dumb down that content because this is what we want you to portray.
Right. Or this is what is going to give you. You can do the other thing if you want to,
Mhm.
but if you want to make some money, you gotta do it. You gotta do this.
You got to do this.
You gotta do it this way. Um, and it's crazy because you know when you think of you think about the entertainment industry as a whole. You know, it goes back to really what was it? What was the genre of music that was in there?
Oh, the blues.
The blues.
The
Yeah,
blues. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It goes back to the blues, but even the entertainment aspect of it, the acting and the things like that that kind of got its roots here in the United States.
Mhm.
It came from black people performing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And people wanting to go see them perform. So that's when you got, you know, when they start seeing that was making a lot of money, then you start seeing people show up in blackface to try to make that money performing, acting like the black people
The
who,
black, right.
who was doing it before. And so it's just like when you think when you trace our whole entertainment thing back,
Mhm.
it really goes back to the blues
Right,
and us entertaining one another and other
Mhm.
people,
right.
right? And you know, but fast forward to now, you can't really say we own any of it.
Right, right. Because the whole movie is about them letting them in and stealing that to get control.
Right.
Because when you watch the movie, when they purchased that piece of land, the whole thing is he said, "It's nobody out here." He said, "Oh, we can market it, but this is ours."
Right.
That was his whole thing. This is going to be
Uh-huh.
ours.
Right.
And then soon as it started popping, well, no, we're not even going to say before it started popping because it was already
The
planned.
plan was
Even though
already
you going in thinking it's yours,
Right.
So okay, yeah, we're gonna let them get it,
Right.
but really we know we control this. And the thing of it is, they had it in because their past sins. Because we know the brothers they had murdered their father.
Right.
So they're running from their past or they're at conflict with their past. So them demons that they was fighting are what connected them to the vampires or the people that are doing it. Because you got to be connected. You got to be let them in. So when they say let us in, when they say you got to invite us in, let us in first, that means somewhere along the line you gotta lose your your morals.
Hmm.
And so when you take that in the entertainment today, the ones that's at the tippity tippity top, I don't want to slander nobody and say
Right,
that,
right, right.
but at some time,
But go ahead, go ahead.
in order to connect, for them to connect with you, someone said you gotta have some dirt on your hands.
Right, right. You have to morally have allowed yourself to do something that you would have not had done normally
Right.
if it wasn't for you to get access to this other place, access to this additional money or
Hmm.
whatever. You compromise who you were.
Yeah, and we idolize them and look at them as some of our role models. But honestly, man, they are some of the weaker people because it's almost like
You have to give up some of yourself to
you
get
gotta give
something.
up some of yourself, and you hiding for something that you can't even, resolve within yourself. So you hear that pain through the music. You see that, you know what I mean?
Right,
But it also leaves you vulnerable for the vampires that come in. Okay,
right,
I know you.
right.
Okay, it was a part in the movie, man. And we will plead the blood quick. We'll get it himself because we're brought up. A lot of us are brought up religious or
Hmm.
spiritual people. Not I'm not even gonna say religious, but we're spiritual people.
Right.
So when we get in certain situations, we know, okay, this is a time to pray. This is a time to call somebody.
Hmm.
Man, listen, them jokers know that the opposition knew how to call them. It's like, man, you singing, you praying.
Yeah, you took me back to my childhood. I remember
Yeah,
that.
you praying. Oh man, okay, I'm gonna pray with you.
Yep.
So that was significant, man, because
They know the game.
they know
They know the game better than you do.
they know the game better than you. They know the word just as much as you. They know what I mean, what moves us,
Right.
man.
That's
And
crazy.
because for that joker, man, what was he saying? Was he saying what he was?
Our Father who art in heaven,
Oh, the Lord's Prayer. Yeah, he
yeah,
was saying the
yeah,
Lord's Prayer. Man, he jumped right in and said, "Oh, I love it." Pretty much was saying it with him. I said, "Oh man."
So with wow, there's two ways I can go with this. So I'm gonna say with because we were just talking about the vampires. What do you think that what did that represent to you?
The vampires to me, man, it was almost like a threefold, man. First, vultures,
Hmm.
culture vultures. You know what I mean? We created something for ourselves, man, and I don't just not this is not based off the race thing, but we create something as a culture, and then you see the opportunity you want to come in,
Hmm.
but not all even that. The greed, man, greed. It's all to me. I seen the vampires, man, represent greed, man. Like I don't know, man.
You can't get enough.
yeah, you can't
Overindulge.
right overindulging. Can't get enough, man. Just need more, more, more. Yeah, man.
Which is crazy because that's what he was saying. Like every time, once they bit into you, they got all of your life history too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they was trying to get more. They was trying to satisfy some kind of appetite
Mhm.
that they had. That's why they were constantly going after other people. You know what I mean? Because they wanted, even down to Sammy. He
Mhm.
told him, he the reason why we came here. I want his music. That
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Mhm.
he wanted the he wanted not only what he heard,
Mhm.
but he wanted those emotions that he was tapping into to make that music,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? But I guess if you have, in the essence of the movie, they could do that, but in real life, like it's hard to do that. And so, like you figure, if you're in the industry, in the entertainment industry, the only way that you can do that is to continue to pick up more artists or
Mhm.
entertainers and try to somewhat live vicariously through them, but you still don't have the thing inside of you that makes them come up with this such great music.
Right. Right.
Or to be able to tap into that thing as an actor to be able to portray these
So you can't
characters on
steal it.
screen.
Yeah, it can't be
can't-
stole. You just
right.
gotta control it because you can't steal it.
Right. Right.
It wouldn't look the same. And then when you think about Sammy, you think about his connection to that guitar, right?
Mhm.
He would not let that thing go. He loved that guitar, and even though it was the spirit that was controlling him, in his mind, he thought it had belonged to a great, successful, musician. So under the falsehood, he had to live up to that standard. And see, that's kind of same as today. You know what I mean? They create false narratives. Oh man, yo, this was great. You can be great if you in this space, this, that, and third. And the whole time is building it off of something fake. Come find out that guitar was that day. Yeah.
Yeah. And so staying on the subject of them, what do you think the significance is of the fact that they couldn't come in unless you invited them in?
Man, that probably was like the hugest thing to me, man. It's like, first of all, one of the brothers knew that it had to be guarded, and the door had to be guarded. That's all. That door can almost symbolize the door to your mind, your heart, you know what I mean? It has to be guarded.
Right.
And once it's breached, you let anything in. And they stood right at the door. I mean, they can hug, angry, they can you whatever, but you have to personally invite them in. And man, how many times? I mean, you could take it out of entertainment and just look at our personal life. A lot of things that we battle with, we deal with, is because we invited them in, and we invited them in because it looked like something familiar, because it talked like something familiar,
Right.
and the whole time it was a wolf in, you know what I mean? Yeah, sheep's clothing, man. I mean, cause you remember he had his boy on the door, that boy, and he walked away for a long period of time, and then he came back, and when he came back, I think by then they had already knew, but because of the bond that had already been built, someone was willing just to let him come on back in, and he had to stop him and say, no, you know what I mean? Let's quiz him, let's find out who's really who. And that happens in the entertainment business, man. You know, man, one of our biggest stories. I mean, we like Jay, we like Dane, we like all them, but it's the same thing. We let them in. You go on a meeting without me.
Right.
You go talk, and now
Right.
it's trouble in the camp.
Right.
That's just it's entertainment, man.
It is, man. It is. Yeah. I mean I don't. To me, that's what that embodied too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the other thing is the person who discovered that.
Talk about it. Yeah.
Like that's real. I mean, that exists in this world too.
Who discovered it?
It was the one that had the baby by the twin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So she was I guess she was the voodoo lady.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it was like she sensed something wasn't right
Right.
when the vampires first came up to the place. Right? And she was like, I mean, like she was agreeing with the dude, like, nah, you don't
Let them walk.
let him go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy their response.
Mm-hmm.
Their response is, okay, well, we'll go, but we're gonna take our time just in case you change your mind.
Right.
And that's how, but that's how it's crazy because that's how temptation is.
What man? I mean, listen, man. You can't talk about without getting biblical, but it said, look, if you resist the devil, he'll flee. But guess what? He's gonna go slowly in case you change your mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's already represented.
Right. And so, like, it's going back to her, she saw something wasn't right. You know, she noticed something. And them, that goes back to what we was talking about a while ago, seemed kind of familiar.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't figure out exactly what it was,
Mm-hmm.
but she's like something about it made her uncomfortable,
Uh-huh.
but it was also something about them that was a little familiar to her as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, but I guess maybe the semblance of that is that that's always been a part. That's been part of the culture in the
Mm-hmm.
air in that in that area where those blues came from.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's something that they've always had to. That's always something that's been a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it is it I'm not gonna say it's not part of the culture, but I think the way that music opens things up, I think it's opened up for them to come in and be a part of it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
mean, when not it wasn't necessarily the case, you know.
And then even with her going back to her being a seer, see, we confine even with the music, with her being a seer, we can't confine the gifts to a building, to a church. See, that's
Right.
I think the significance of that church house. Okay, you got this over here to eat. Pop, he's seen it. Pop, the dad, he always
Oh yeah,
seen it.
yeah, yeah.
But she's a seer too.
Right.
She see.
Of a different I, of a different side though. Because her act, I mean, if you think about it, I don't think her act. I don't feel like her. Trying to think. Her access comes from the same source.
You know,
Hmm.
you know.
I think she has the gift,
Yeah.
right?
Uh huh.
Just like Sammy had the gift,
Right. Mm-hmm.
but she's not relying on the source to enhance her gift.
Okay.
She's relying on another source to enhance her gift. To
Mm.
me,
So okay. Okay. So it was the gift is there, but it was corrupt
yeah, it
yeah,
was corrupt.
it was corrupted.
Right.
But it was still there. I mean, because she
It,
saw things, and she even with leaving the earth, she knew that it was a period in space and time that I had to
mhm.
leave here before I cross over into this realm. Like,
So
how did she know that?
because there's great because there's grace too, right? Because everybody has gifts.
Hmm.
Everybody's born with them,
Yeah.
right? You can choose to do good with it. You can choose to do bad with it. Um, I'm not saying that because I think it's source,
Hmm.
right? But for whatever reason, they have invited something else in,
Mm.
and then there's a cost that has to be paid with that.
Right.
When you don't rely on God the Father as a source, and you start relying on something else to guide
Hmm.
and lead you, then there's a consequence for that, right?
Yeah.
And so even in the movie, they lost their baby,
Hmm.
right? And was that remember he asked her, he was like, how come you couldn't save? She's like, I just couldn't,
Mm.
right? So that there was a there was a decision that she made
Hmm.
that a price had to be paid for.
Right.
And so, I don't know how, nobody knows what that price is going to be, but the better decision is to not even
Indulge or go even go there.
invite it.
Invite it in. Right.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's not to invite it in.
So let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about. So we ain't talk about the first brother, like when his demise, where it came from. You know what I mean?
Okay,
He
yeah,
had he had, and I think if you look at the movie, you had like an Asian family.
yeah. Oh, all right. So we got to go back to them after you talk about the brother. We got to go back to them
Okay, so
because there's something in the movie that really stood out
you
about
had
that.
Asian family, and then you had that one white woman, and and you know what I mean the regular the community there, and it almost looked funny having back during that time having that one white woman that she was clinging on.
Hmm.
He, you know what I mean? He knew her from her past.
Hmm.
He came back. She popped up and she said, "Hey, pretty much I've been looking for you. Why you leave me just like that?" And he gave her his excuse or whatever, but he was like, "No, we not doing this no more."
Hmm.
She was persistent
Hmm.
and coming back. Persistence and coming back. You know what I mean? Okay, this is the past. It was there. And it almost like symbolic of, oh, sometimes you gotta leave that past in
The
the
past,
past.
right?
Even though they come back, she gave a sad story. My mom passed away and all that. And it's almost like she forced herself back into their lives.
She knew how to get access.
Right, exactly. She knew how to get
She knew
access.
how to get access,
Hmm.
right? And she, because he again, she was let in. She know where the buttons
Right. Y'all gotta watch that for the buttons, yeah, but yeah, you know what the buttons.
are. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just like he knew where the buttons were,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
knew where the buttons were.
right. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it's just like even with that, even though he was like, why you want me to say it, don't
Hmm.
you? And he was like, he told her straight up and down. She shed a little tear, still didn't,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Still wanted to be able to try to find a way to get the access that she wanted.
Yeah.
Because remember, after that, that's when she convinced him, let me go outside,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, but so like with the Asian family,
Hmm.
I didn't even pick it up. My wife picked this one up. They in the store, and he saw what time it was. In the 1930s, I think it was. When the
Yeah,
service
yeah.
started. So the first store that it was in, did you notice that there's all black people in that store?
I didn't. No, I didn't notice that.
And then he told his daughter, he's like, "Hey, go tell your mother I need her."
Hmm.
She goes over to the other store. There's all white people in that store.
Mm.
The stores was right across the street from each other,
Uh-huh.
but one was the all black store, the other one was the all white store. So it's segregated.
Hmm.
But the Asian family owned both the stores
Mm.
in both neighborhoods, right?
Right.
You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And it's just
You see that? Still today.
you still see that today.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, the hair. I mean, you can go any hair store in any town in the United States.
And it's crazy because when they was in the juke joint and they was telling a story and they was going through all the different genres of music. So I mean, you had hip hop, you had, it started with the blues and then it went through all the different genres, man. But at the end of the day, the controlling factors was still the same. I don't care. We went through all these different genres, we went through all these different eras.
Mhm.
But like you said, the ownership and the controlling factors still went back to the Asians, and at the end of the movie, with the Klansmen,
Right,
they still owned everything,
right,
and they're coming back. They take it all back. They let you occupy, let you have fun,
right,
but at the end of the day, you gotta pay the piper.
right.
And you said something, man. We was talking about it. What he At the end, he was gonna let him live. You remember?
Yeah, yeah. Was he?
I think he was. I think he was gonna let him live on.
You think so? You think what he was seeing was so strong that he was just like, nah, I'm just gonna go with this here, and he wasn't going.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't remember what he said before that. Oh, I don't know what he said before that, but I remember the last thing that he said.
Mm, what did he say?
He was like, I said I got. But he said something, something, something. But I got money.
Right. Uh huh.
You know what I mean? But I got money. And it's just like that's what it like that whole entertainment thing. That's what it comes down to
Mm-hmm.
is money. The whole reason that people, I mean, yeah, some people want to do, they love it. That's a passion. That's a gift that they have. But ultimately, they wanna
They
they wanna own it.
but what expense? At selling your soul, because a lot of them willfully.
Yeah, give it
Because
up.
yeah, give it up. Say, hey, I want to be immortal, man. And immortal in the, you got the natural realm. Immortal mean being at the top, being the best of the best, being able to people to idolize me, see, you know what I mean. And in this movie, we know immortal meant that's gonna live on
Yeah.
forever, because of the vampires. Apex or reach a certain ceiling, and you just keep desiring more, man. We look, and then when we get to that point, and I got to switch over just for 1 second.
All
I'm
right.
not gonna talk about it too much, but we got a podcaster now, and a very we watched them build. We
Hmm.
watched them, leave a protected job, start his own thing, and he's growing, and he's at, like I just said, the apex, and now. You see, they circling back. Say, okay, nah, you growing too fast.
Hmm.
You get your contract. You're getting more money than what you're supposed to be getting. You can get money,
Right.
but you're getting too much now. Now the vampires coming out.
Right.
It hasn't changed, man. Just
And they and sometimes that's money. Sometimes that's ownership
mm-hmm,
of the product that you built. Right.
mm-hmm,
Um, it's taking something from you. You know what I mean? Like that's almost and I'm not gonna say the inevitable, but in that particular realm, that entertainment industry, it seems like
mm-hmm,
that's what it all goes back to. And even with the movie itself, one of the things that I've been reading since I've seen the movie was the deal structure that that Ryan Coogler did on this movie. So
mm-hmm.
he had full creative authority on it, final edit cuts, all of that kind of stuff. The one thing that he got that has never been done before is after 25 years, full rights of the movie come back to him.
Oh wow.
And they said that has made a lot of executives upset
Mm. Yeah,
because
because they sold their product. They didn't sold their product.
the ownership rights go back to them.
Wow.
So now we don't own it in perpetuity.
Right.
You got a
Right.
25-year run, which to me, is very interesting because when you think I start off by saying he's created somewhat of a new genre of film
Mm-hmm.
that how long is it? Who else is going to be able to make movies like that?
But he's opening the door for people to do that, and you never know who's coming behind him. Because in 25 years, when he get that, Mac, now if you have a predecessor that's coming,
They're coming. They're here. It's
yeah,
it's just like the rap. It's just like the blues.
mm-hmm,
Like once there's somebody out there who couldn't articulate the kind of movie or whatever that they wanted to try to make,
mm-hmm.
but they just went out and seen this movie, they off to the races,
Oh
man.
yeah, oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean? You're gonna see more and more of these, and that was the spark.
mm,
And so now, when these people come, are they gonna want ownership too?
mm, yeah,
Right? Because now they're starting to up in the structure,
mm-hmm.
the power structure that's already been set up. Right? So we can't for the next 25 years start cutting deals where you get yourself back in 25 years, because then 25 years we ain't gonna have nothing.
Right. So you gotta do it now. Yeah, and that's his genius, man. It's smart, man. He's a smart guy, man.
Yeah.
Real smart
And I
guy.
mean, now going forward with him, now like he got the leverage.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you want one of my movies? I need it back in 25.
And he was up against a heavy hitter this weekend too at the box office, man. I forgot the other movie, man, that came out, man, but he surpassed them by, man.
long shot.
Man, yeah,
They
long shot,
they
man.
projecting by I think this weekend that he'd be at like 100 million
Yeah.
domestic. I mean that's huge.
So what would you say to an average moviegoer, somebody who's not really gonna, dissect it and just gonna take it at face value? Do you think that anybody going there and see that movie could just see it as a movie and not pick up some of the gems that he was putting out, or do you think that he made it to a point where anybody that watched this movie is gonna get something deeper out of
I think they're gonna get something deeper out of it. I don't think they're gonna be able to put their finger on
it? Mm.
it. Because I wondered it because when at the movie that I went to, it was um as many white people in there as was black people,
Right.
right? And I had it was a white couple on next to my wife, and there was a guy next to me. And while I was watching the movie, I was kind of curious as to were they seeing the same things that I was
Mm.
seeing. Um, it said the N word in there a lot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They did.
And it wasn't nigga.
Yeah. It was the hard
It
R.
was her. It's the
Yeah.
hard
It was the
R.
hard R. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So like, how did they feel? Because that was true reality. How people spoke,
Yeah.
during that time frame.
Hmm.
Um, and so how did they feel about that? Could they correlate the music um, and how that pulled people together?
Hmm.
How it also pulled maybe things that you didn't want to come to you. Like I don't know. I I don't think the average moviegoer is going to see what we saw, right?
Mm.
And I
Right.
don't even think I would see what I saw if I go back and watch that movie again. Because now I already have a framework,
Right. 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 Right.
right? And
Uh-huh.
so I think even the person who can't figure out like, hey, what was that movie really about? Like if they go back a second time, I think they might get it then.
Right.
They'll get a lot more like, oh, okay, this is a metaphor for this, and and like most movie goers, I'm not gonna say most, but there's a lot of movie goers that just go to be entertained.
Entertain. Right. That's.
This is a movie. It's like listening to Kendrick Lamar.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta listen to it a couple of times to even see. Yeah, I mean, you might listen to the album the whole time and then realize, hold on, this is a story.
Right. He's weaving everything together.
Yeah. And now you gotta go back and then you gotta find out, man, you gotta listen to it backwards to hear how the story really goes. Like that's how I feel like this movie was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's layers, man. And when you called me and asked me about the movie, that's the thing. I was like, man, I'm still unpacking this movie because I'm like, okay, I understand this part, but how does this play into it? And the more and more I thought about it, I said, man, he really put some thought.
How do you write something like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's how you know it has to come from somewhere else too. To come write something like that and just to get people's minds going and to make those correlations, that's not something that you could just sit down. I'm a writer. I like to write, man, and I know when I write my best stuff, it has to be inspired.
that? Right.
It's not something where I could just come up and say, "Oh, this wrong. This makes sense." It has to be inspired. I might get woken up on my sleep or something like that, and I think that was inspired.
Yeah. And he did say that. I did see a thing where he said it
Oh.
was inspired by his uncle
Hmm.
who moved like 10 blocks away from him and listened to the blues all the time. And
Mm.
he said, which is crazy, but he was saying he used to spend a lot of time with his grandfather, I mean, with his uncle. And then he went away to college. Then he started getting these movies and stuff like that. Then his uncle started getting sick. And he said, before you know it, I'm missing little events, I'm missing small events, or big events because I'm somewhere working on this movie that got to get done. And he said, then my uncle got sick. I wasn't able to be there. And then I'm at his funeral and I'm like, yo, is what I'm doing, was it really that important for me to miss all of this?
Mm,
Right?
mm.
And then he said, so like he was trying to unpack that, and he found himself going back and listening to those blues records that his uncle was playing for him.
Wow.
And then he's like, oh, this is why he liked it. You know what I mean? And he said, so he found himself just listening to it, and he said it became kind of like his uh kind of uh not counseling, what's the word I'm looking for? It helped him get through it,
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay.
And he said, he found himself sometimes just listening to it in the dark. He said, I just felt like he was there with me while I was listening
Mm.
to it.
Hmm.
And he said he just wanted to do something to honor his uncle
Wow.
because he felt like he didn't do what he was supposed to do towards the end of his life. And so
Mm.
that's what inspired him. And he was like, just nobody knew that I also really liked horror films. And so I just wanted to
Combined the two, and
yeah,
yeah, he did an excellent job, man.
he did, man.
Excellent job.
He did. So we weaved in and out of this conversation. So it's two things that I want to ask you, because this is very against the grain for people who believe in Jesus and God like we do, right?
Uh-huh.
It's to go to a movie called Sinners, knowing that it's underlying these underlying things going on there.
Uh-huh.
But do you think that's where we should be?
Man, listen, man.
Not where we should be,
Nah.
but do you think like more people should actually who be like, I'm not gonna watch no movie called Sinners.
Man, you gotta understand the enemy. You gotta understand what's going on,
Right.
man. Yeah, absolutely, man. And just like in any sports, we all grew up playing sports or whatever, man. We watch film, we watch tape, because that's how you know. And that's honestly Hollywood, the movies, entertainment. A lot of the messages, day to day messages, of how this world is gonna
Hmm.
revolve, is shown through media.
Right.
So why would we shy away from it? I mean,
Yeah. And I think in order, I mean, honestly, man, just to be, you got to know what's going on,
mhm.
right? Your youth is going to be going to watch this movie. So I'd much rather for them to get an insight to what I'm seeing from somebody like me or you
Yeah,
than from somebody who has no clue,
yeah,
of the culture, of sublimity, what is being presented in this movie,
exactly.
and can break it down and make them think.
Hmm.
Like, oh man, I would have never picked that kind of
Right.
stuff up. And that's the only thing that those are only things that you can get from people with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right?
That's it. But they gotta see it. They gotta
Yeah.
know that it's there. I mean, and just waking up in the morning, man. We know that we are shield. We gotta put on our, we gotta put on our armor. So that's no different than going outside my door today. I'm gonna be in so many different atmospheres, so many different spirits. Can't shy away from them all, man.
Right.
It happens, man.
It's
I
we
enjoy.
living in a world.
You living in a world, man. You
You
don't
know.
gotta be. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie, man. To me, I like people that could show depth. Anyway, you know what I mean. And it was some depth
Is
in
he the
that
one that
movie.
made? Did he do Get Out too?
Now, was that Nah, I don't know. I don't know.
And
I
well, I
don't
know
think
he
it's
did Creed.
Coogler.
He did Creed, and
Hmm.
he did Black Panther.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't think.
No, no, no.
No, I don't think he was Get
I
Out.
think that was your other guy.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. That was Peele. Now he's a no one. He's a no one.
Now he could make a movie something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Jordan Peele could do it.
Yeah, because Get Out, I mean, that had layers to it.
That man, yes, did it? Yes, sir. A whole lot.
So you got to help me out because there's one scene that I really didn't get to see
Okay.
because we went and my two younger daughters was watching the movie and their movie got done right before ours did.
Uh huh.
So we had the credits was rolling, thought the movie was over. So we go out to meet them, but I had to use the bathroom. I'm like, yo, how come ain't nobody came out of the movie yet? I go back in there, and there's a whole another little section, where
Salmon.
where Sammy was in there playing,
Mm-hmm.
and the twin and the girl came back in there. So like, what was that? Like, were they vampire? Like, was that a dream? What was that?
It lives on, man. Basically, what he said, hey, you can't kill it. It ain't gonna die. It's gonna live on. He was just showing that there's another time, another space, setting up all over again. So I mean,
So why they didn't? Because I mean, it was dark. Why they didn't even get saved?
they made it. They made it through the day though. That's the thing. Oh, you
No,
got
they made it through the day, but in that setting, it was nighttime,
uh huh.
and they was in the club. They could have very well. They was inside with him. It wasn't nothing stopping them from beating
Because he walked away. Ooh, that's deep. I this just it's almost like if they got you, why they got to get you? And what I mean by that, when he ran back home, he was home, and his father was like, "Give me the guitar." He could not let that thing go.
we didn't even talk about
He could not let it go, even though this thing that man, you done seen all kinds of casualties. You been went through a night of horror. You can't let it go. That thing had was so. By him doing that, if there is something on the other side watching, we got him. Why do we need to? We got him. He's working for us. Think about that.
that.
He's already on the team. I think that may be why they didn't. I mean, convert him. He's already converted. He made his choice.
Cause he went. I just knew when he went in that church, man. He was
Ah,
gonna let it.
man, listen, man, I'm
After
back.
all you just seen,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
But that could.
But
It's crazy because that can happen in so many areas in so many people's lives. It's just like after all you've been through, like you still going back to that.
but the thing of it is, and listen, man, this is another whole show, another whole week. But we started off early by saying everybody has gifts. And these gifts, we got to find a way for them not to be confined to just the church or just that, because we're bigger than that. We can we can cultivate them there, but we have to grow, man. We have to go out into the world. That's the only way these gifts are gonna, really be seen by the world. You can't keep them behind these small church doors, man. And I think that was his struggle. He was like,
Mhm.
okay, I got this gift and people react, when I play, but it's bigger than just here. And I think a lot of the churches and stuff like that have to understand that yeah, it's dangerous out here in the world, but the gift can't be confined, man. And I think that was kind of another thing that he was kind of trying to portray, like, I let him. I gotta take this thing. It's bigger. I'm bigger. And sometimes, man, we're bigger than just four small walls, you know.
Right, but at some point in time, do you I mean? But you still got to keep the main thing the main thing.
The main thing, the only walls,
Because the only reason that because you think about it, the only reason we give it a gift is to share
right,
His love with the world,
right.
right? So within our message, it should be conveying that.
But everybody's world's not safe either, though. It can't just be in the safe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. It has to convey that. You're
Right,
absolutely.
right.
But does the environment have to look like what we think it's supposed to look like? Because how are you going to reach those parts unless you there? You gotta be there.
Right, right, right. And so, like, that's no different than, and this is no slight or anything like that because this is he was operating in the way that he felt like he should, but he also kept the main thing, but he went into places. Look, right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's first one to tell you know what I mean tell you kind of his journey. Like, okay, well, why do I just gotta do it here? Why can't I go to where everybody else is rapping at and do my thing there too? Um, the 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 only thing the harder. I'm not gonna say the hardest thing. The thing about that is that invitation that you might get.
Right. Yeah, the invitation. Right.
Right.
You got to be guarded, and you can't let it in.
Right.
Man,
Right.
I know I share a lot of stories, but man, when I was rapping back in the day, and man, my guy John the Baptist, G Rod, we was traveling, man. We would do shows North Carolina, Atlanta, so we was hitting all kinds of stages, man. And we went to Atlanta one weekend, and we stayed at T-Bars in them house, and we recorded. We recorded in the studio. That's where we used to do the gospel rap and everything. And we met this pastor, and I think I told this story before. I
I remember you
did.
telling me. I
We
think.
yeah, we met this pastor, man, and he took us for a ride, and he said, man, he was putting out all the strip clubs in Atlanta. He said him and his team go to all of them,
Mhm.
ministering
Mhm.
inside the strip club. He was like, man, he was like, so many young women is lost and don't know what to do. He said, now anybody just can't go in there. He was like, but I pull up in there. He said, when they come asking you want to dance, he whisper in that ear, man, tell them, hey, man, look, God loves you, this, that, and the third. He said he don't care who see him walking out and who see him. He was like, because he know the numbers that he's pulling out of there. You know what I mean? He knows that what, you know what I mean? He's been set to do that. And I was like, wow, because if you look at the traditional way of doing things, oh man,
Yeah. Yeah, but see, he haven't gave he haven't taken that invitation, right? So like that's something that wasn't probably an issue for him to begin with, or something that he never allowed himself to indulge in.
right.
So he's not fighting that type of temptation when he goes in there. Like when he's going in there, his purpose is like, okay, I'm just sharing the gospel,
Hmm.
or you know what I mean, with these women who may be lost, right?
Right.
But but a guy who struggles with lust, man,
Oh,
that's
he
like
said this is a setup.
yeah,
He said, right,
right. You know, so like you have to know who you are to know what places that you can be
right.
in and operate your gift in those areas.
But when we see that, we can't be the judge and the jury about
Oh
it
no,
either,
right.
because again, then it goes back to being just confined to this one space. So then what happens over here? Do you just let the vampires take over?
Right.
You got to show up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Jesus was in a lot of places where people didn't think he was supposed to be
Exactly.
at. Yeah.
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 Wow. Okay. Oh, now this could go. Yeah, it
Yeah.
could go so many places.
Yeah. But no, this was a different conversation even for us. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean? Like just to kind of throw that out there because there's so many people that might be looking at it like, yo, why they even talking about this movie like that? It's like, yo, you gotta know what's going on around you, man. You gotta know what the pulse, man, because this is the pulse of the culture.
oh yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
they put it right in your face too. That's why they put it there.
Right.
And it's the reason why we're getting a lot of movies with these unspoken truths now too.
Hmm.
Because I mean, it's almost like it's starting to be a theme.
Mm.
You know, it's almost starting to be a theme. Okay, and I think it's due to a time where we're at
In this time,
in
yeah.
this time that it's time to open your eyes and see some things, man.
Right. And stop lying on truths that have existed. You
Yeah.
know, it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. And you can turn a blind eye to it, but it still don't change that this is what happens and what goes on.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, we come a long way, man. But we got a lot farther to go.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
farther to go. Cool, man. I think that might be it for tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I bet you back in the day, we ain't touch on real estate, but I bet you when he bought that property, he wish he had some real estate laws or something
Yeah,
in place.
for sure.
That's bad. And just think how many people that went through that spot and just keep being
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. We sold, story retold. You know what I mean? And even down to, yeah, we could go on and on this,
No
man.
doubt, no
So
doubt.
we appreciate you tuning in, man. We hope you like this little off the cuff movie review night. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We see another good movie come up. Yeah, you might see us do it again, man.
No doubt, man. If any of you went out there and seen it, you picked up on some things or seen something, that you feel like, man, you want to share, man, reach out to us, man. Hit us up, inboxes, go
Put it in
on.
the comments. Hey, we're gonna clip this up. So, you just give us what you're saying, because I'm pretty sure he ain't catch it all. I know I didn't catch it all.
Right.
And so, I want to see what your insight is and see what kind of gems you caught throughout it. But as always, like, comment, share, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Hey, we appreciate you following us, even just off of the lives. We're getting more and more live views, and so we appreciate that, and we appreciate you, liking and commenting on the clips as well. So thank you for tuning in.
No doubt. Stay tapped in.
Hey.
Peace.